Next then.
So, homework reviews then
Yes.
from our homework assignments last week. So I had John Wick 2.
Mm-hmm.
My homework assignment was John Wick 2 because last week I watched John Wick 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I just watched this today.
Today, so it's fresh on your mind then.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I couldn't get it on my YouTube TV.
Don't give me that. I subscribe to Stars just to watch my homework, so fuck you.
No, I know. But like, I ended up just because I do rewards, little surveys and stuff for Google Play, and I get a couple cents or whatever, and then I just went to the Google Play store and I just used my rewards and got it for 48 hours.
All right.
Rented it. So I watched it on Google Play.
Okay. Talk to me.
So. Yeah, don't hate me, but I watched it on my phone because I'm not at home and I can't like throw it on my TV. Don't give me that. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. I'm not at my actual house, so I can't I
get a freebie at some point. I get a freebie or a pass or something like that. If you're going to bitch at me about something, I can pull this off the wall and hand it to you and say, enough's enough. I get one freebie.
My bad.
All right.
My bad. Was the only way.
Let's hear about your John Wick 2 phone experience.
I thought it was great. I love how it picked up exactly where the first one left off. Like, you think you're gonna be dealing with his brother, who he killed in the first one because he killed his brother, he killed his nephew. And you're like, oh, this whole story is gonna be about his family getting him revenge. And then he makes peace at the end. You're like, oh, or it makes peace at the beginning. You're like, okay, well, that's done. I'm like, he really, really fucked up his car, though. Like, I'm like, he loves his car.
He got that bad boy back, though. And that ramp out where he hits the side and turns, oh, man, that's such good action in the beginning. It opens it up real well because he's just Baba Yaga. He's in the shadows, you know?
But the whole time I'm just like, he's just that car that he loves so much. He just totally put it through shit then.
It's his baby. He can fix it.
I know.
He's Bob the fucking Builder.
God. So that was, you think the story's gonna be that, and then it turns and he gets the mark where he has to complete, because he got out, and he got out because of a favor, and now the guy's like calling in that favor, and he doesn't have a choice, he has to do it. And I love that. I felt like that was very natural. I didn't feel like this was forced.
Even though he turned it down, he like slid it back to him. Yeah. He's like, I can't turn this down. This is something it has to be done. And he's like, watch me, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So he turns it down, and I'm thinking, you know what's gonna happen. He's gonna either try to kill you,
grenade launcher,
or
load that bitch
up. He blows up his house, and all those pictures and all this stuff. So he's like, I don't have a choice. I have to do this stupid thing.
Were you worried about his dog when his house blew up?
Oh my God, I was so worried. I was like, don't you dare kill the dog again. I was so worried. And so goes and meets with him. He has to go kill the guy's sister.
That was graphic, wasn't it? Where she was just like...
Yeah, okay, so I love the way that he sets it up going in. He sets all these extra... I'm like, he's leaving these guns on his way out. And I'm like, he's thinking ahead. And he goes and he's talking to her, and obviously they have a history, and then she kills herself, but he still puts the bullet in her head because he's like, I gotta do my job. I have to do it. So, and then when he leaves, and the whole escape plan, and I knew that the brother was gonna turn on him and kill him anyways because he's a loose end. Yeah, I knew it. That was not a surprise to me.
Right.
So that was not surprising. The fighting. Oh, one of the things I remember, at one time he had the big gun, and he was reloading it while he was holding somebody. He was holding somebody down with the barrel, and he was reloading it, and then just fires it while it's still on the guy's chest.
It's kung fu. It's fucking great.
So the whole fight scene in there was amazing. And then when he meets up with the other guy that was supposed to be protecting her, and they're fighting and everything, and you're like, okay. When they fall accidentally into the hotel, and after they've been fighting, they have to stop. And he was like, oh, his brother hired me. I didn't have a choice. It was a mark. I thought they were going to team up to that point and go kill the brother. Because I'm like, well, the guy knows he can't turn him down. And he's not technically the one that like hired the hit on him, on his girl, so I figured he'd team up with him, and that didn't happen.
Did you like how they expanded the coins and the hotels more so? When he sat down in the hotel at the beginning, the guy leans to him. He's like, "Are you here for the Pope?" You know, I mean, it was just some good shit.
Please don't kill the Pope. Are you really here for that? Yeah. So I like to see a different, like, this is everywhere. And then I really liked the old-fashioned.
Oh, I think your internet just killed. Your internet just died for a second. What was that?
I said I really enjoyed the old-fashioned operating system that they had, where you would call in
the girls that are all tatted up and like the pipes and stuff.
I loved it. I thought that was just so classic and awesome. And it just fit with the old like assassins part of it. And everybody's getting their text messages about the new hit.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that he had to kill like 8 people.
He got the pencil situation down. You got to see the pencil story.
Just to get to, I'm going to say Morpheus. Just to get to Morpheus, he had to kill like 8 people. And he's like bleeding and dying. I thought he was trying to get to the doctor at the hotel to be safe and get patched up. But no, he was going to meet Morpheus and getting a favor from him. He's like, "Do you really want to go to war? Or do you just want to give me a gun?" And it's like, okay, yeah. You're right. I'm not going to get
six bullets or 7 bullets?
It was 7 because it was a $7 million hit.
Yeah. And he, within 5 seconds of being there, he's just like,
she's gone.
And that's in the trailer too. So
yeah, and I enjoyed the fact that every time he ran out, he just took the guy's gun from him, and he would do a very similar move where he would flip him over, get him on his back, pull the gun out of his hand, and he literally would like double tap everyone. He'd hit him twice in the chest and then one in the head. It was like thorough.
Yeah.
Thorough assassin.
You don't assume shit.
Yeah, and I really, and maybe it's just like I just saw it in Stranger Things, the mirror scene. Like I just saw it in Stranger Things, so I was just like, oh, this again. Because I feel like I saw it somewhere recently as well. Besides,
I'll say this again. This came out first.
I know. But for me, it's just the order I watched it.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of the mirror scene in anything because it's just a way to trick the audience and everything.
Same ending line as before. I'll be seeing you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And so now and then I don't like when he killed him at the hotel, just right there. I was like, why? You could have come up with a plan. You could have waited.
Did that fucking blow you away? Like you didn't suspect him to do it because everybody's been all so hands off, don't do it at the hotel, and then he did it. You're like, what the fuck?
And you're like, shit, you're gonna die. And then he goes to the same place that Perkins in the first one went, but she was killed. And he was like, all right, I give you an hour and then you're excommunicated or whatever. And basically I almost thought for a split second, I was like, it'd be fun if that guy was his dad and that's why he gave him an hour, but he has to stick to the rules or whatever. But
excommunicante.
What?
Excommunicante.
Yes, yeah. So and his hit has gone international now, so the third one is going to be everybody's trying to kill John Wick.
I'm not going to ruin anything for you because
obviously.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and assign it so we can knock this out. You're getting John Wick 3 this week.
No. We're going to wait till the second part.
What?
No, we're going to wait till the second part.
What? Then I'm just going to change the movie. I'll throw out something fucking random.
Okay, so yes, approved. John Wick 2 was great.
Did it go up from the first one?
Yeah, it elevated. Yeah, I wonder, and I know somebody has done this. Added up all the people that he's killed.
Yep.
Like it's out there because
it has gone up every movie.
Yeah. And the just I want to know that number actually. Like how many people has he killed?
Well, thanks to the power of the internet.
Yeah, because I know that
in just John Wick 2.
And a bunch of other videos. What'd you say?
In just John Wick 2? 77.
Sure, just 77.
No, I'm sorry. 77 in the first one, 128 in the second one.
Oh my God. I was like, 77 sounds kind of low. And then you're like 120. And I was like, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because he put a lot of people down. But no, it was great. I very, very much enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to watching the next one.
Awesome.
But okay. Your homework was Jumanji Reboot 2017. So the first one with The Rock and Kevin Hart. What did you think?
Yes. I enjoyed it. It was it felt new. It didn't feel like Jumanji. It felt like a completely different movie, which I really enjoyed because the Jumanji of old you don't want to change. This felt like a correct reboot, but like a parallel universe kind of version of Jumanji.
Like a sequel, because they did mention Robin Williams.
The character's name, correct.
Yeah. Alan,
and one thing I want to say that it would have hit me so fucking hard at the end when he gets out of the car and he's just like, yeah, I got 2 kids. The second one is named Blair or something. The girl's name, whatever, Bethany or something. Yeah, Bethany. He was like, the second one's named Bethany, and she was like, oh, because they had their own thing going on in the thing. I would have really liked him to say that the first one is named Robin, and the second one is named Bethany. And I was hoping for that, because he's like, yeah, I named him after the person who saved my life in Bethany. But the first one, just a simple sly of Robin, I would have that would have hit me hard. I would have loved that. But they didn't do it, and I was like, you missed an opportunity.
Okay, you skipped to the end there. But
I did, because that's the one thing. I enjoyed how they all came together. It didn't feel forced, even though it just felt like a typical beginning of a high school movie. That's what it felt like.
What do you think of the way that the game had to evolve? And the fact that it's like nobody plays board games anymore, and it's like 1996, and he has the old-fashioned...
Being a gamer, I was disappointed in it. And that may surprise you. The reason being is he was rocking a PlayStation 1 controller, which is a CD, a disc. It gave him a cartridge for what looks to be an Atari 64. When he opened it up, all it showed was the Atari cartridge. Where did the console come from?
I don't know.
The console and the controllers?
Did you see the console?
Yeah, because when they put it in the basement, all of a sudden there's a big green light on the back that was like, don't, with the drums that everybody fucking hates in the movie. And they unplug it and everything, and they get warped in. Where did that console come from? Because the cartridge itself was the only thing when he opened it up. That threw me off, because it was like, oh, he's playing video games. I need to mod myself to the new type of games these kids are loving. And then he turns it into a cartridge. But he was playing on a PlayStation.
But that was in 1996.
Okay, so where did the console come from?
That's what I'm saying. In 1996, that was the kid that got sucked into it. What was his name?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, anyways, the kid that got sucked into it, the first one who played Nick Jonas in the Jumanji, he got sucked in 1996.
Okay.
So that was the type of game that he got, and all of his stuff was donated to the school. So that console that was at the school was his.
But that console,
when Jumanji, when it evolved, it just copied the console that it was closest to.
And that's what I'm saying. That console wasn't there. It made a cartridge for Atari 64. He was playing on a PlayStation 1.
Did you see PlayStation 1?
I saw his controller. I'll load it up.
Well, then that's okay. If you just saw the controller, then that's some production person's fault for picking the wrong.
Well, they always do it all the time.
Only a gamer would pick out.
Which
Most
gamers,
like myself, are not going to pick that
there's
out.
more money in gaming than movies, TV, and music combined every year. So they need to get that fucking shit right. It annoys me.
I get it.
Okay.
But
the console itself, it turned itself into a cartridge. It never turns itself into a console, unless it turns itself into a cartridge, and then you saw it zoom out of the house, and you saw the flashes like, oh man, he's playing the game, and it got warped in. But the thing is, if it never turned into a console, he'd have to have the console there, which means the console has nothing to do with the actual game. It's just the game that you put in, so you can move the game anywhere. And at the end, when they smash the console, they're smashing something that doesn't fucking matter in the first place, unless the box itself warped itself into a console as well. It throws me off, because
you're over analyzing the gaming console of Jumanji.
That's what I'm saying. If the whole thing is based around a video game, get the fucking video game part right. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Okay, can we just go into the Jumanji world now?
Okay. We'll get into
Cast
Jumanji.
the
We get into the
controller.
Jumanji world. I thought the actors, I didn't see them as the actors they are. I didn't see The Rock
Right.
playing The Rock's character. I saw The Rock being played by the kid, and like almost like a puppet kind of situation where he was inside. Same with
Yeah.
Kevin Hart. Same with the Jack Black character. I say all the characters. I didn't see the actor playing that role. I saw the kid playing that role, which I don't know. I give them full props on that because I don't see how they. It's not a trick of the mind, but it makes me feel like they did something correct.
Right.
They didn't make
They
me.
lost themselves in the character, which I enjoyed as well. It reminds me of a story actually when I forget which Harry Potter movie it is. I think it's like 6 or 7, maybe 7. Yeah, it's 7 or 8. Okay. Well, anyways, because Hermione is has the spell on to make her look like Bellatrix. But what's interesting is when they filmed that, Emma Watson filmed it, or like she did it first, while the woman that what's her name, Helen, whoever plays Bellatrix, watched Emma Watson
Yeah.
perform it as Hermione,
Okay.
and then she played it. So it's and then she played Emma Watson playing Hermione playing Bellatrix,
That-
and I
yeah.
was like, that's what I got from it. Is I
I
was
agree.
watching The Rock play that kid.
But that is one scene you're comparing it to. This was a whole fucking movie that
I
they
know,
kept you, which was
I know.
really well done. And it's not that the kid's playing, or The Rock is playing the kid. It's The Rock is playing the kid who's playing a character because
Yeah.
he's acting on top of acting. So I thought it was really well done. The humor in between them was great. They clashed real well with their personalities. I like the random fucking humor with the. Maybe it's a staring contest, and it wasn't a staring. I was wrong. It wasn't a staring contest. That was good. I like that because you expected it to be one, and all they figured it out. And here we go. Oh shit, they were wrong. You know, I like curveballs.
What about the strengths and weaknesses?
I like cake, and she was Bethany or Jack Black. I see. I don't even know which one to call it. It was like I haven't eaten cake in 9 years or something like that. And
Oh,
you
no,
don't know
that's
what cake
Kevin
tastes like. And I do what?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Bethany was like, I don't know. What
When,
cake
after he
tastes
blew up and fell down and landed in some like rubble, the guy's still doing his NPC animation. Cake, or not cake, like rations. And
Yeah.
he goes, "You get the fuck away from me!" You know, you get away from me. Gets all pissy at him, and I like that. I mean, Kevin Hart, I like his style of comedy. It can be heightened or hurt depending on the movie that's surrounding him, and I think this did heighten his comedy because it wasn't centralized around him. It wasn't centralized around any of them. It was actually a group effort. I did enjoy the end because I liked how I didn't see it coming, even though I fucking should have after it
Yeah.
happened, where the person's falling from the sky. Basically, she poisons herself by the snake, falls down, and hands like throws it to him or whatever, and he puts it in the jaguar's eye. I should have put that together, judging by how they were emphasizing the falling part, especially the helicopter turning and catching him, and when he died running to the straightaway at the end, he got to keep the actual jewel, even though he respawned. So I should have put it together, but I didn't, and I'm very disappointed in myself on that. I did like how they did set it up because we've already watched the trailer for the second Jumanji. I did like how it shows him going back into that world, but if you didn't ever watch the second trailer and you just watched this movie independently, you wouldn't catch it. But seeing that trailer, then watching this movie, you catch it. When they're all leaving, he's like, do we have to? Or do I really want to go back? What if we just stay here? At that point, it was just like, oh, he likes being the hero, but he has to go back to his real life. Now that you know that he fucking goes back, that means a lot more because it shows him like with the debate of going back to his original life or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So part of you cut out there, and I think it was on my fault, my
It was.
computer's fault.
I saw
Yeah.
it. I blame
Sorry.
you.
Couple like one more week, one more streaming session, and we'll hopefully be in a good spot.
He didn't want to come back at the end of the movie. That
Right.
really wouldn't have been too much besides everybody saying, oh, he really likes being the strong hero type. But seeing the trailer for the next one, knowing that he goes back on his own, it shows that they were already thinking ahead. So they had confidence in their product. I look forward to it for the new one, more so than what I did previously. I thought it'd be a fun thing, but knowing that every time. If they could do that thing where I see the character that they're portraying in the actor, these actors can continue playing different people for a while. So I really like how they're switching that up on that. So it should be fun. There's going to be a lot more twists and turns because this was a lot about learning how it's operated and ran internally. And the next one will be more so some of them know the rules. They're just trying to get older people to catch up.
Right. I felt like Chris blah blah blah. What am I talking about? Kevin Hart. I don't know why I said Chris. Kevin Hart.
Still got Chris Evans on the mind.
Possibly. He's always on the mind. Kevin Hart. I felt like this one was not as a stretch for him. I felt like he was almost playing himself. But I felt like I said, Jack Black was the one that I felt like was the biggest out of his comfort zone, and I loved it.
He did great with his prance walking that he did, and the phone situations, and he did good. Jack Black did great through and through on that, so I'm looking forward to that.
I think the next one is a little bit more of a range for Kevin Hart playing someone who's so much older. So and it's a lot to do with the writing as well, just and the deliverance of those lines. So I'm really, really excited for the next one. I'm glad that you are on board now, that you've seen this one, you understand the world a little bit more. But yeah, you're right. They can literally have these actors play them forever, and then just get different people to portray them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it all. Good. Well, so I give you a thumbs up for John Wick 2.
You can't go wrong with John Wick. Yeah, I give you a thumbs up as well. It's not you haven't given me a homework assignment yet that I fucking hate. And I did watch this one with my kids. They had already seen it, so they had fun, be able to kind of chill with me and kind of watch my reaction to everything. So they got a live reaction as well.